Mike Irvitel was talking about the problem with upper lower split. Yeah, your upper doesn't get enough. I would say pretty much gained the most. I was doing push pull lower body, but each day was like twice a day. So 2 days heavy push in the morning, volume push
Oh,
at night. What's his name? He used to work right for T Nation. Christian Thibodeau.
yes.
Did you have like a black book of training or something he had? And it was from him that I got the whole AM PM workouts.
Ah,
That kind of which makes sense, like heavy in the morning, volume at night, right? I was doing that, but also, I mean, Charles Paley, he wrote a book called Muscle Logic back in the mid 2000s that escalating density training. That's what he considered it. My whole approach to pull-ups was based on that, his approach. But so I was doing heavy and then volume at night. But generally, I enjoyed the volume portion more
yeah.
so. Now, I mean, like I said, I pretty much aim between 30 to 50 reps for an exercise.
Okay. And how many
Generally.
sets per exercise or
So,
per body part? Per body part. I'm curious, per week.
no, per day, like right now, say if I do overhead press with 30 to 50 in mind, I can be either doing 3 sets of 10 or 6 sets of 8. For most body parts, I'm pretty much doing, let's just say, on average, 5 sets per day. So about 30 sets per
Okay.
week. So it's not that high volume, considering what we were talking about. But my rest times are usually at 2 minute intervals. If I'm doing like alternate sets, then maybe at 2 minute intervals, I'll do like deadlift, back to pull ups or whatever.
I'm just curious about this. Your diet came with your nutrition. What's that looking like these days?
Protein shakes, I have like, anywhere from 3 to 4.5 to 5 scoops per day, spread throughout the day.
Yeah.
Usually I'll have like 1.5 scoops at a time with kefir, half a cup of kefir and half water and the rest water. And I'll have that maybe 3 times a day. And then usually half a bagel with butter whenever I have the protein shake. Just one meal pretty much. Harvey's buffalo chicken poutine, which is like, I think 920 calories or 950 calories, somewhere around those for a regular serving. And then I'll throw a fried egg on top. And yeah, so like I said, all I focus on is calories and protein. And I'll have cottage cheese with blueberries, generally, like I had that today.
Okay.
Ice cream to meet my calories or whatever, which is fine, what I mean. But my diet has pretty much been more or less like this the last 8 years, especially just focusing on protein and calories.
And you feel that hasn't made much of a dent in terms of how your physique looks. For example, if the calories are equated and you had a higher carb, lower fat versus a higher fat, lower carb,
Yeah.
protein the same. Have
Do
you tried that?
The only time I would lower my carbs is before a photo shoot. So let's just say maybe 6 weeks before a photo shoot. For 4 weeks, I'll lower my carbs to 150 grams, maybe even 100 grams for the last 2 weeks, just so that carving up for the last week. I still
Okay.
sort of believe that if you're lean enough, that makes a difference.
Yeah. So you can fill out and look full for the shoot.
Yeah.
So do you have any upcoming plans for photo shoots? You mentioned the collaboration with Jeff Nippert is coming up.
Oh, there's no collaboration. We just wanted to get a workout in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, that's what I was approaching it. I'll talk to them. But in terms of fitness, I mean, it's interesting. My own nature. And I'm not saying that this way is superior, or just like the same way with pull-ups, right now, push-ups, and now the split squats too. I mean, so probably, and that would pretty much, when you think about it, that would pretty much cover your bases, don't you think?
That's full body right there.
Yeah, right? I just thought about that right now.
Yeah.
I really want to see like where these split squats will
Take your
me.
legs.
Yeah, right.
Do you find that because of the pandemic, your legs, the amount of muscle you have, it just declined a little bit? Is that the reasoning why you want to prioritize it?
It already decreased just before that, just because of my sciatica was like pretty bad. Yeah, there was like a period where maybe 5 years ago that I lost like 15 pounds in a few months, and most of it was on my left leg.
Wow.
Yeah, so maybe in the span of, I don't know how long, but my left calf went from like 15 and 3/4 to 14. Like it really in that period. And it was like nerve issues. Like it was interesting.
Do you have pain now? Like right now, just talking to me?
No, just
No.
I'll have aches and pains here and there, but for the most part, it could be the cannabis. But I didn't think 55 would feel this young.
Nice. That's good to
Seriously,
hear.
does that make sense? You know,
Of course. Yeah.
I'm not feeling again, like I said, it could just be because I'm high, but it's not how I imagined. You know, when I was younger, I mean, yeah, that's how I thought 55 would be. I noticed a difference physically. Maybe now I have to just be more about like even with diet, micronutrients. Maybe ideally I should be training heavier or upping the volume at the very least to make up for the differences. Like I do notice that more effort is required.
What made you go into wanting to smoke as much as you do now? Does it have anything to do with the injury of your lower back, or
I'm not sure. Like I think I've just sort of addictive personality tendencies, and I quit drinking in 2012 because there was no drinking moderately for me. My nephew was 14 at the time. He had a classmate that would buy edibles from his classmate. My 14-year-old nephew, was my dealer for these edibles. So yeah, and then I would have that like maybe once or twice a month at most. It was funny. Like in 2015, I was like sort of posting how, when I was like smoking or whatever, but I wasn't smoking as much still. It just kept building up. Yeah.
obviously it's addictive, so that's a big thing in that regard. But is there any benefits what you would say to what you've experienced from it?
Painting, definitely. The whole, I don't know if the big five personality test, like I would say that as for creativity, I would say, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm sure a lot of people that are equally as creative without it or whatever, but for some, I'd say it's beneficial that way. I would say people that are type A personality, which I'm not, they would benefit from smoking more just to be a bit more relaxed. Like people like me are the ones that shouldn't be smoking quite as much. I'm already
Relaxed.
yeah, so I understand that. But there's that struggle to keep it in moderation,
Yeah.
But between that or alcohol, definitely I prefer cannabis way more than alcohol. Yeah. Here's a question for you. Like, I mean, I only recently considered it about the split squats. I was just thinking my legs are where they are right now. Say I built a capacity to 50-pound dumbbells, so 100 pounds total, to do 30 sets in 1 hour, 30 sets per leg, alternating every minute of 10 or 12. I can't do it right now. If I get built up to that capacity to do that, where I'm not even sore or be able to do that like once a month, would my legs be better built than they are now?